for like 4 minutes.
That's too aggressive. And then like head massages.
Yeah.
I would like to know, I gave these people plenty warning about why we were here, what we were doing. We went on a whole tangent about women's football for like 5 minutes before the stream. It's like,
I finally like got a chance to talk to people about sports. I don't often get that.
Yes,
all
true.
Of my nerd
Guys,
friends.
chill out, guys. Ian's into sport, okay? It's almost like someone who plays a game is interested in other kinds of games.
Right? I feel like there's been a real change nowadays in people realizing over like the last 5 years or so is like, it's all the same. It's all the same in a way that you shouldn't like arbitrarily be like, oh, you like League of Legends but you don't like football. Like, it's all the same. It's all the same, and you know, just enjoy it. Anyway,
live your best life.
Live your best life. Kick that ball or get that gold per minute in lane. Hey, welcome to Jarviskjir Mind Over Matter. I play both sides, so I always turn out on top. We had a fun session.
Look at that quote.
That's an Always Sunny quote. Last session we had a guest. We don't have him now. We went. The whole party went and the whole party minus Ocean went and met up with Rakath, the spy master for Narashiro, played by William, and has generally kind of helped them out with the plot, but not in a way to completely. You've still got a couple of things to sort out today, and also probably a bit of downtime in the city as well, which might be nice, might not be nice. We'll see. I don't really think any of you have anything to do with downtime, but hey, maybe you'll surprise me. But while Ashal and Bogdan were working together with Rakath to kind of make a plan on what to do about the Mad Priestess, Oshun, I said that, Oshun would be going, because you had Cinnabelle out with you on that last expedition. And I said it's probably likely that you would basically be going back to Cinnabelle's church with her and kind of resting. Also knowing that you're probably about to leave the city for like a long time soon, right? Probably after you sort out the Mad Priestess, one way or another, you're probably gonna be going back to Ulksure. And there were quite a few things actually with Cinnabelle that you didn't really get to, finish up. So,
finished.
Look, I was trying to avoid the lewd holes that suck in all matter towards them, all lore, all content. They're the black holes of the Jarviskjir stream. So, is there anything that you'd really want to do you want to just kind of like go, this is sort of what we were doing during the last couple of days? Is there anything major you want to talk about with Cinnabelle? What? Yes, I get it. They're gonna have sex. Other than that, we assume that. Stop thick posting in chat and tell me what you want to do in the D&D game.
How much downtime do we have?
Well, you don't know exactly how long. Rakath is going to go off, and Ocean doesn't know this yet, but Rakath is going to make you a forgery of the map, which will in some ways give you a little more leverage than a real version of the map, because you know where the real version is. You don't know how long. He said it probably won't be that long, so the way downtime works in 5e that I use is let's just assume a week. And you do a week of activity, unless you have other plans that don't really neatly fit into that.
I can't believe I missed Rakath.
You did, but Rakath could show up at any other time. Literally at any point. Rakath could show up.
I'm just waiting for him to join the call right after you say that.
He can! He can do that.
Slide into his DMs.
I think if Bogdan has a whole week, then I think the two main things he's going to do is, his daily training and exercise.
Right.
And then I think if he has this much time in Narashiro, he's going to seek out their musical centers, because Bogdan is really into what we would call
and burn them.
And burn them. No, no. Bogdan's really into what we would call like the classy classics, like opera and all that kind of stuff. And so he would be interested in what Narashiro has to offer in that kind of realm.
For sure, that's effortless. We might even do some rolls and stuff around that. But that's basically all right. We're waiting for a while. You probably have ordered like a week of room in the tavern that's in the residential district below the farms and the factories, because that's kind of where you're usually haunting, and you also know that Oshun knows that you're there, just in case. So you can like have that as your base, and you can go and do this other stuff. That's pretty much without Ashal or Oshun. So, Ashal, what are you really thinking?
I would like to begin researching into how to heal, or the potential of healing damage to bodies caused by like blood magic, sort of sacrificial. Basically looking into things that might be able to heal Oshun's eyes.
For sure.
I have 12 more eyes.
For sure. That'll be pretty easy to do as well, but we'll do a roll for that. Oshun, what were you doing the last couple of days? What are you going to be doing for a week? Don't laugh. Tell me.
So, she's definitely going to be probably just sort of like some chill data gathering, like hanging out with Cinnabon, hanging out with the group, making like the rounds to talk to people about like to gather more information about the priestess.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's really it's like with a week of downtime, choose one activity. So if you want to like get some forbidden lore about the priestess, that would be it. It would be, okay, I'm Gandalf in that one scene in Lord of the Rings that 7 years passes in, right? He's just at a desk, right? That would be what you're doing. There are a couple of other things though that you can, because you had basically a session that you missed, right? And there are a couple of other, so let me know, what are the other things you're also interested in doing? And we can...
Yeah, if there's anything else that you want investigating, because I know that you guys she was making the fake map. Is there anything you want me to do?
We could definitely use some more muscle if it comes down to a fight, because we are probably ill-equipped to defeat her on our own.
Oh,
I hope we did.
If it comes down to that.
We don't want to fight her.
No, we would need a small army.
So could you get us a small army?
I'll do that. What if we just like get a comeback episode? Every like previous character turns up, and it's just like, hey.
There's a couple of characters that could show up, but you know, not that you guys know. You do know that. I mean, is this assumed now that basically Ashal and Bogdan went and told Oshun what's going on? Okay, cool.
I don't see any reason why we'd keep it.
Yeah. It's just, you know, the time dilation. So you do know that Rakath, because he is friends with Voss Nor, the Shogun, is probably interacting with them. And the Shogun also just generally an imposing person. So that's another thing. There was a thing you mentioned like 3 sessions ago that Cinnabel kind of has offered up, where you were like, I want a way to properly communicate with Ivrith, to properly commune with Ivrith. And Cinnabel's like, yes, we can do that. Doesn't really seem safe on the road, mostly because we were all very sleepy at that time. But now that you're back in Narashiro, if you would want to do that, she can do that. Although I'd also understand if you're now like, now that it's a real option, I kind of, you know, don't want to, you know?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that she would know. I think it's a good idea to talk to Oxua.
Ivrit. Oh, Oxua. Oxua you can't talk to.
Ivrit.
This is
Ivrit!
Ivrit! Oxua you've already sent a message to. She has not got back to you. She might do so during the week. This is Cinnabelle has a way for you to commune with Ivrit. Your god.
My god!
Your
okay.
god.
Ah, my goddess.
My goddess.
My goddess.
Well, dandy.
I'm definitely going to commune with my goddess.
Okay, so you're actually interested in that.
Not
So that would be
forget.
essentially what you were doing while the other two were doing other stuff. And Cinnabelle did show you this before. She would, first of all, do all the wellness checks and make sure that you actually want to do this because she says it's quite an intense experience. This isn't the same as just sending a prayer. And Ivrit is, not that you already have any measure of differences, but amongst, organized religions, Ivrit is talkative. Ivrit does commune with their people, with certain priestesses. And you have had basically a moment with Ivrit when you ascended, but how much of that is retained is a whole thing. So Cinnabelle would start laying out this ritual. She starts laying out a series of goblets and preparing a bottle. She showed it to you earlier. It's a large, glassy green wine bottle with silver engraving all around it, all deliberate, basically making this an enchanted item. What she pours from it is not wine, it is very clearly blood. Warm blood too, it steams. And she kind of lays this all out. A spidery web pattern is drawn on the ground. This would be in Cinnabelle's chambers, and she would sit you down at the other end of it, and she will say that I cannot join you in this, and you will only have a small amount of time with her, and she may not accept you. Are you absolutely sure?
I'm very charming.
She does already know you. When you are ready, she kind of motions to the goblet, which now has a kind of halo of energy around it. Very subtle, but you're magical. You can kind of tell.
I think Ocean would look at it and say to Cinnabelle, almost nostalgic, isn't it, for the pre-ascension?
I utilize the rituals we take as earlier priestesses. And it is their energy, those who are so devout, that allows us to communicate with Ivrit.
Righto. Just take a swig, shall I? I don't know why she's become so British.
She's always, you were always like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a ritual there, ain't it?
Oi. We just got to talk to God. Okay.
Just go up the apples and pears.
When you take a swig of the blood,
what does it taste like?
It's blood. It is.
Not infused with cinnamon. Any spices?
It is seasoned. Yeah, I was gonna say that it is seasoned, but not
is
seasoned
it savory,
to.
salty.
Yeah, it's not savored seasoned to be delicious. It's seasoned to be magical, but it is kind of an addictive Moorish taste.
Ooh.
It
so
really
you'd say
is.
It's magically delicious.
Thank God we couldn't hear you, Jake.
It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, almost like a liquor where it's like it's not nice the first time you have it, but you want more.
You force yourself because of societal pressures until you become addicted.
And it's also one of those things where it's a large goblet. It's a goblet for people. So it's like you drink half of it, and you're like, you have to drink the rest for it to work.
Oh, I hate that. It's like with a really thick hot chocolate, and you're like, oh, this is great. I swear I drank more of this.
You can ruminate on the flavor because that moment stretches from 1 second to 1,000 as you feel yourself falling, tumbling. Almost like falling through the canopy of a forest. You feel your body hitting things. Not enough to cause harm. I imagine you probably would like cradle your belly as you fall. But you fall. You fall into
that sucker's on its own. Sorry.
You fall into a dark and yet bright place. As you hit the ground, you are, at least spiritually, within Varachnia, Ivris' realm. A place that you have seen glimpses of when you ascended. Again, moments that lasted seconds in reality, but maybe extended for years while you were down there. There's a reason why Ascended go mad. The place you are in is a small oubliette of white ground that looks as if it is made of bone. All around it you see just a vast pit that kind of goes down to a yellowish glow, and there are walls, but the walls are so distant and yet so close, the texture is kind of hard to pick out, but it's almost like a cobbled together mass of webs and faces. You can see things crawling around up there. You see high above you a very large spider-like entity. Like a Drider, but the humanoid half just hangs limply like a vestigial limb. And on the back, much like the sigil of Ivrith and Narashiro, large eyes open to look upon you. There is a shift in an instant, and Ivrith appears before you in her usurper elf form.
Oubliette, a secret dungeon with access only through a trapdoor in its ceiling.
Yeah, it's very much that kind of energy. Ivrith appears before you in her usurper elf form, not exactly how she appears in paintings or statues, but also not exactly the same between every second you look at her. She is sharp-featured, a little paler than a lot of other usurper elves. Her eyes are glaring. She is, at the moment, actually slightly shorter than you, and is wearing a long dress that basically looks like tattered, shredded, desiccated spider webs wrapping and coiling around. But she kind of has that energy among her, and almost this instinctual energy that you feel of like being in the presence of a predator, right? That she could snap move at any moment. Especially because when she forms, she has her hands like on your cheeks.
Ooh,
Very cold fingers. And a expression that is a smile, but not quite, you know?
She's the mother's mother. She's the wealthy, older mother.
Yes! It does have that kind of wealthy grandma / aunt energy, especially because when you, like, deign to snap your attention from her, the oubliette around you, there's of course no railings, but it has shifted into more of like a day room with tables and chairs and
More terrifying.
a kind of like day bed with silks and everything. Again, it's all like stretched out of the ground in like bone and ivory, but and for a moment, she will be staring at you for a long moment before speaking. My child, Ocean. What do you want to do?
So, when I saw her like form as I could comprehend it before she like became usurper elf, was it difficult for Oshun's brain to properly? Was it a bit bending?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit bad.
This whole place is not reality. Yeah, and even looking at her right now, it's like a dream, where it's almost like she's being painted in oil colors every few seconds. The texture of her skin is slightly different. The texture of the smell in the air is slightly different, but it's also like the smell in general is just this kind of like neutral cleanness, aside from this kind of perfume on her, which again doesn't really smell like anything, but you can just smell it's different from the air. It's very strange.
Okay, just gonna have a chat with the bringer of all things in my religion.
Uh-huh. You know your time is limited, but not exactly
Yes.
how.
Okie dokie.
What will you say? She has spoken to you.
Thank you for accepting me for this moment we have together.
How could I possibly refuse? She who bears my child into the mortal realm.
Well, that sheds some light on some things. I will not take up much of your time, Mother. I have some questions I'm not yet powerful enough on my own to inquire about with you. Through the gift you have given me, I forged many connections, and through one of these very close relationships, I have been granted temporary access to speak with you. I will be quick, I promise. She thinks.
She will drift away from you. Oh, I'm still in spook. I was still spooky. She will drift away from you. I do like it. But as she drifts away, it feels like kind of glass dragging against your face for a moment. As she does, she drifts to kind of stand near the edge of the oubliette where that sort of table is.
I think Oshun, because it's just her nature, she would have like taken her elbows like a familial but deferential touch. It's not like side to side. It's two ladies who in other circumstances would go.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. She will break away from that, but not in a necessarily rude way, but there's also just the, you know, it's a strong motion, despite her not moving very quickly. And she will state, while holding up a hand, "You have already taken up some time. Let the words drip from your tongue."
Did you commune with the being known as the Mad Priestess?
She is full of my essence and the essence of Varachnia, is she not? She is ascended, always has been.
Yes, I did sense camaraderie with her, but we had to be sure that the voice of which the message that she brings is not from a being other than the true mother.
And what message is that?
She will not share it with me, and that is her gift that you have given her, and I have my gift. We both, as you know, hear you in our own ways. I only seek the safety in knowing that I can trust her fully. Shall I trust my sister?
In this world, your world, one sister is she who should be trusted the least. Her words travel with ancient thought and are not implanted by my fingers as I would to an artisan deigned to create a masterpiece.
I see. Thank you.
What else is on your mind, my child?
Many things, but I think I only take this moment now to bask in your unfiltered, as much as it could be, presence. I trust that no question that I have will go unanswered. I wonder about this child's time, when it will arrive, and how. But I also know that the time when it comes will be right. I also know that it is difficult to commune with one's siblings, but no mistakes were made by you, and I should trust in that. I only have trust.
She looks at you for a moment and then all of a sudden is behind you. 8 sets of hands grasp your body in basically every place they could be grasped. Mainly your pregnant belly, but also like the shoulders. It is an unmovable grasp, and she will utter into the back of your ears. What I have blessed you with and what we have made together will change your world beyond its understanding, but not in a day, not in a month, not in a year. Time is unpredictable, but he will be extraordinary. And if you fail me in bringing him to this world and changing yours, you will find no mercy in the depths of my heaven you see around you, for you will only grow to know torment, as opposed to unfiltered bliss upon your success. Motherhood eternal. She leans in and places a kiss on your cheek that burns, and you awake with a start in Cinnabel's private chambers. You were on the floor. That's kind of all you know.
I think Oshun would kind of uncharacteristically sort of roll around a little bit. It's so absurd. I think she would just be laughing, which is really uncharacteristic, but it's just it's absurd.
It's like an eldritch. That is very eldritch. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think she would say to Cinnabel, I need your help with a name. A boy's name. And that's it.
A boy? Darling, they're hardly worth names.
More laughter.
She will put away the ritual and, time passes, and she will look at the bottle, which is noticeably not as full, and she will say, I have little need for this myself. But darling, on the journeys you travel, and the questions you hold in your chest more dire than any I would have, I could see it appropriate for you to take this with you.
The bowl.
The bottle. And basically the ritual set.
To commune.
To allow you to cast commune. The way it works is it is a finite resource, mind. She will explain it to you, because she is not a shady lady. She will explain to you the thing you have. The bottle has 4 charges, and each usage uses a charge, and it takes an hour, so it takes longer than commune. It can be refilled, however. It can be refilled with the blood of the loyal.
Just take a shot.
Ashal would not work.
How is Ashal?
Ashal would not help.
More loyal.
Loyal to, not even loyal to you. No, it's loyal to Idrith. Unless you want to start getting weird with it, of course. The blood of the devout.
Okay.
It's up to you if you want to take it. You could not,
Absolutely.
but the option's there. Okay, I will give you the thing.
I shouldn't be like, darling, I have to find you a gift that's equal to this.
Of course.
Do you like flowers?
She will give it to you in like a silken gift bag. You know, an appropriate little kit, basically. Like, it's like a picnic kit, but you're picnicking with the goddess of betrayal and spiders. Yeah, she'll give that to you. I'm just gonna post it in the Discord so you can copy that into your sheet. After that, do you want to actually go and talk to the party, or are you happy to start doing downtime activities?
Both. I think that's part of downtime. Just hang out with you guys, get a cup of tea, that shit.
Do you tell them what happened?
Oh yeah, just the whole thing.
Okay, so one afternoon in the tavern, Ocean, explain, please.
Guys.
No, yeah, I think this is a how. I don't think you can just yada 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 meeting God. I think you do kind of need to explain, because how you explain it will definitely change how these two see it, right?
And it's also how it's also colored by how you interpret Idrith's words as well.
Right. It's kind of hard thinking back to remember the exact words either. The memory has become garbled. The feelings haven't.
Like a dream.
Like a dream.
Yes. I suppose I shy away from this because I don't like rehashing, but in character it makes sense.
This isn't rehashing. This is important. So.
Yes.
In the tavern.
Okay. So, tavern.
Ba-ba.
Cups of tea.
Cups of tea, maybe a brain. Yeah, it's just like a little bit of brain fluid.
Charles drinking, but politely.
There's no way an MMRE can eat politely.
Ollie's like done. Gonna explain the kit. I can commune a certain amount of times. Gonna say that I was transported into an oubliette. I fell down into a realm that was more dream than reality. Things moved in the dark, and I was horrified, but at home. A stranger, yet family, and I saw this entity, but as soon as the many eyes opened, she was in front of me in the form of... This is gonna be boring, like someone explaining their dream.
Yeah, I would even say this is a loyalist tavern. There would probably be like a little statuette of Idrith to pray to, like by the bar. So you could point.
I just, when you said that, I imagined her with salt and pepper and the statue, like, and I said, and then she said.
You are a mum, so like that is appropriate.
And then, but she shifted and I couldn't pin down her features completely. But I knew it was her, and she put her hands on my face, and I could touch her like she was real. Of course she was real, but in physicality. And she said to me that
concerning the priestess, she is a sister, but the whispers to her are old, not planted by her fingers. Something about a tapestry. Painting. Artist. Anyway. So, the Mad Priestess is ascended. She is a sister and is worthy of trust. But perhaps she is being misled. I don't want to speak too much to what my goddess said. I don't want to misinterpret things. As you know, it's terrible when religion is misinterpreted. And then she talked to me about this entity growing inside me. And I just feel trust. It was really beautiful, really. It was wonderful. Then she kissed my cheek and it burned, but not in a bad way. It was wonderful, darling.
So, our objective should be to
impede the Mad Priestess.
Realign, like a broken bone that juts from the skin, must be pulled, set back into place to heal. I'm sorry, I'm still kind of...
No, that's...
She's like energized.
Drug field euphoria aside.
Blood, darling, blood.
Blood, yes.
Blood is
Who doesn't
power
feel revitalized after
anyway.
a good glass
Darling,
of
I
blood?
thought you were going to say aphrodisiac.
Sounds like we need to, like you said, realign the Mad Priestess to your goddess's will.
To the mother. And I think that the plan falls very neatly into that. And if we have any other questions, I have a few more uses with this. She'll shake the bottle of blood and be like, ha!
Right. Well,
It
here's
does
the problem
make a
with the plan.
noise. It makes a noise like a boat. It's like a much bigger noise than it should make. Yeah. It's weird.
She'll be like, huh, weird.
Interesting thing about the plan is that we don't really have a plan in so much as we have a to-be-delivered fake map. And that's all we really have.
And destroy the first one, correct? Find the cavern that she described, destroy the map, deliver the forgery.
It would be suicide to attempt to destroy the map.
We're dealing with, I wouldn't call them adversaries, but individuals of some power that were beyond our capability to...
9,000!
We can't just waltz in there and, waltz into the Shogun's home and then destroy one of his family's prized possessions. I doubt we have the political capital to escape with our lives, much less the finesse and prowess to accomplish the first part.
I think even if we did, the impression I get, or I got from hearing tell, was that the House of Nor care not for politicking.
Politicking?
Politicking.
And someone politic.
That word is so much easier when you think it. I maintain, as I have said from the start, that attempting to destroy this map, going to House Nor ourselves, is folly.
I agree, but we're getting a fake map. And since the idea to destroy the map was planted in the Mad Priestess's head from what we can only assume is an adversary, then it's probably a good thing that the original is where it is safe and sound and undestroyed.
An old entity. Is that old by our standards or by hers?
These would have been good questions to ask the goddess.
Darling, I had asked enough already.
I understand. Being in the presence of your god can be breathtaking.
Oh, darling, have you spoken with yours?
From time to time.
Excellent.
People generally speak from their own perspective, and gods are little more than powerful people in some sense. I doubt that Ivrith intended that from your perspective.
Something old in comparison to Ivrith is unsettling indeed.
Even were that not the case, with age comes the opportunity to amass power, even if this entity is merely old in comparison to an usurper elf. That gives them many centuries, if not millennia, to gain power.
There are things that are also born into power. She's not going to do that. Well, we cannot guess as to what the entity is. I'm sure we will cross that bridge once we get to it.
It would be nice to know who we're actually fighting, if not the Mad Priestess.
I think that may tangle things, or maybe give us clarity.
Definitely the latter.
My primary concern is what we do with this map and how we interact with the Mad Priestess so as to come out with our lives intact. As pointed out by Rakath, once the item is destroyed, we lose leverage. In a similar way, if the Mad Priestess believes all copies of the map destroyed, we also lose leverage.
The lie will come out.
If the Mad Priestess respects Oshun with even a fraction of the respect Oshun shows her, then we can assume as long as we are allied with Oshun that she does not plan to dispose of us, but instead to weaponize us towards her aims.
She could also simply decide to eat you.
I believe to say Oshun is the exception to the rule of Ivrith worshippers would be the understatement of this age.
All right, then we need a plan. A good plan. One with contingencies. And one that does not in any way end with me being dead, preferably. But ideally, required, really.
In a safe place, I think.
We need a plan. A good plan.
At the
A cunning
very
plan. Cunning as a fox.
A plan that is foolproof.
At the very least, we have
Fools abound.
we have some degree of bargaining potential. Yes, we hold the knowledge of where the Mad Priestess is. We are also agents of Ogshua, and we have interacted with the High Priest, with the priestesses of Narashiro. It is not a stretch to suggest that if the Mad Priestess were to kill us, she would prompt investigations into our demise, which would lead two great underground powers directly to her.
That is an excellent point.
But it requires us to die.
Yes.
No,
Bit of a problem.
it requires us to make the Mad Priestess believe that killing us would cause that effect. We do not want to die.
The largest issue with everything we've come up with in regards to the Mad Priestess is among the three of us. There is not a single one who is good at lying.
I am not good at lying, but I am good at frightening people.
Oh, darling.
Can you
What do
frighten
you think?
an ascended war veteran who has the power to kill us with one of her limbs?
May I propose a stray thought that just occurred to me?
Oh, you're going to anyway.
Well, maybe I will keep
Mum.
No.
about it.
No. There's no bad plans until we've heard them and decided that they're bad plans. So speak.
Well, it really is just a thread that I trust you to weave into something bigger. It occurs to me that as you were talking about what we know about the priestess, we know that she desires responsibility. She wants to be relied on. She has been relied upon. What if... Now, this may seem random. What if I make her this child's godparent? So much responsibility, so much connection directly with Mother Ivrith. Then she'd be obliged, through that responsibility. This is where I rely on you! This is when I rely on you! Please!
Here's my thinking. If you do that, then having two non-believers at the side of her godchild might trigger a violent response.
I still would like to keep you in a very secure box.
Right.
This is
So
like where I
let me amend
relay.
the criteria. I do
Yes.
not wish to die, nor do I wish to be put in a box.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Isn't that what dwarves do? They like to be in confined, dark places.
Careful now.
I'm sorry. This is not canon.
That was absolutely canon.
It may be a little bit.
100% canon.
Maybe a little bit.
How the Queen Ocean got as that spit continued might not be canon, but that was absolutely canon.
No, that was also canon.
She's a member of the royal family, but who it is changes every couple of sentences. I would like to remind you of a agreement you made with Rakath that in return for helping with this forgery, he wants the Spiderkin at his safety, in his sanctum.
I would like to be told this, please.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, we definitely
Blah, blah,
told
blah,
him
blah,
that.
blah. I just wanted to kind of remind you as a party. Because
I exploded vomit
obviously
all over
the Mad Priestess does not want them to leave.
Right.
And they don't really want to leave. Although they were more okay with the idea of leading now that Oshun has kind of proved herself as like a leader. So just so you know, that is kind of a part of your agreement of Raka for him getting you the fake map. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily do it, but
I don't want to make any poor choices with darling Rakath. May I just ask, why, darlings?
Why what?
So many. Firstly, why... I had hoped that we wouldn't uproot these poor creatures once again and bring them to another powerful stranger who will do God knows with them. We love Rakath. We respect Rakath. We stand Rakath. What could he possibly want with them?
You did not see his fortress. Agency. I am not one to believe people easily, but when Rakath said he wants to create a place where the downtrodden or the different can be safe and thrive, I believe that much.
What do you think, Bogdan?
Though rare, this is an instance in which I fully agree with Ashal. I believe Rakath is a good-natured individual, and as foolish as I may think that may be, he's someone who has shown me quite a lot of respect, and I'm willing to return it.
Right.
He has done more to suggest that he has their interests in mind than the Mad Priestess, at least.
And even if he didn't, a price had to be agreed upon. And I think we can all agree that the spiderlings would be safer away from
The scary portal beneath their feet and the scary deity above them.
Exactly.
My...
So,
Yes.
now we need a plan in which I don't die, I don't get put in a box, and we get the spiderlings.
What if we put you in some kind of
I don't like it.
baby carrier? No. I just would like a little bit more information that Rakath is doing this out of a sense of, can I assume, outsider camaraderie.
If he is to be taken at face value, yes. That is the image he put forth for me and Ashal, is that he is someone who has a great deal of compassion and a large space in which to fill with people he is compassionate towards. Yes.
His agency was
Rakath and
manned.
Sons.
His agency was manned by every race under the Aetherlight. I saw... What are those surface dwellers?
Hummins.
Yes, I saw one of those.
Oh, disgusting.
That's as may be, but...
We didn't touch them. We didn't want to get any licer. No.
It at least suggests that...
City, fuck off.
It suggests that he truly does view without differentiating in some way.
Yes, I think that is a fantastic idea. I just feel that if I were to convince all of these folks to uproot, move to a strange place with a strange landlord, and it to go horribly wrong, I would never forgive myself. That being said, I would never forgive myself to leave them to danger in the first place. It's a rock and a hard place.
Fortunately, you do not need to decide between the rock and the hard place, because Ashal and I already made the agreement.
So squishy! Ow, you're like sharp.
You do have their skin is quite craggy, yes.
Oh.
So, the problem is, only a Shun could reach the Mad Priestess on a, let's call it a spiritual level.
Yeah.
But
she had a
only
chat
a
with
Shun.
Vashal.
Dang it! You cut me off at the pass. I was getting there, Ollie.
Oh no!
And only a Shun has a working relationship with the leaders of the Spiderlings, which means she can't be in both places at once. So,
We put a wig on a Shal.
Actually, for some reason that is now I can't take credit for, I do recall that Ashal, you had some esoteric connection to the Mad Priestess yourself.
Yes, you did meet in the scary tunnels. Did you think she was going to eat you? Or...
I definitely assumed he was going to be eaten, yeah.
Yes.
I was prepared to die in that moment, yes. When you talk to someone of that nature, it is a roll of the die, as it were.
Rather there was no role, but we won't rehash old ground.
Whether or not I can convince her of anything based on our connection is another matter entirely. I am not sure that the Spiderkin relate to
Do they hashtag relate?
her goals.
Oh Lord, no. They just want to not be fucked by every bigger person around.
I mean in the sense whether the Mad Priestess has them there as part of her goals or not. If she doesn't, that may be much easier. If she does, I have to attempt to convince her that she is wrong about whatever it is in the 9 hells she is trying to do.
And while that does sound like fun, it also sounds like she would smash you with one of her 3 faces.
If she did not just laugh me out of the metaphorical
Laughter
room.
would probably break your brain and send you into a spiraling mad spell.
What about Cinnabel? Could Ashal broker a meeting between Cinnabel and the Mad Priestess?
We could ask.
Well, actually, am I mistaken? Is Cinnabel ascended or simply snaky?
Has ascended. However, she has ascended to the sister faith that is more
Would that be an affront to the Mad Priestess or kindred?
It could affront her.
What about that horribly displeasant woman we met after we met Cinnabel?
Lamia, thank you. The Lamia side is the serpentine side. We are ascended to the arachnid side. She could find that path difficult to... Stop it. Do you think that Bogdan just writes a note and passes it to a Shal? And they're like...
Is that what's happening
Actually,
when you're shitposting in chat? You're just passing
No,
notes.
Ashal is just mentally connecting.
Yeah. I was gonna say we're just like muttering in deep speech, you know.
Mama will hear.
Yes, there's no telling how she could react. We could ask Cinnabel what she thinks might happen, but her guess is as good as ours. Unless she does know more about the priestess than I do.
Let's put a pin in that.
Yes.
So we have the map. We use it to lure the Mad Priestess away from the Spiderlings.
She would be very mad.
Right. But that will give you an opportunity to address the Spiderlings, and we can relocate them to Narashiro.
The speed of the Mad Priestess is beyond us and the Spiderlings. I do not think we get out of there without her express permission.
How about this may not work, but I can think of a reason to draw her from the city if she wanted a connection with this being. However, she might want nothing to do with it. But if she does want to be drawn away and have a ceremony decreeing her this child's godparent, if that's worth anything to her, she may be convinced to leave. For a time. Enough time for you to speak to the spiderlings. I can write a note if they need more convincing.
A note.
With my signature to buffer.
To whom it may concern, move.
Y'all get out of there.
We have made a bargain
with people's lives.
We have made a bargain
to save people's lives.
Why not make a bargain with the Mad Priestess?
Death, box, spiderlings. As long as we adhere to the 3.
Please let it go. I'm so sorry. I've scarred you for life. Like parents tend to do with mentioning things that you then remember the rest of your life. Anyway. I'm sorry. She's very powerful.
Either that, or we convince her that the Spiderkin are not relevant to her aims.
We don't know how she will react to that. We can know one thing. We don't know how she's going to react. So anything we say is, stop being sassy, stop it. Anything that we do or say could be met with success with the direst of reactions. And that's not even accounting for what plans she may be implementing simultaneously.
And as Charlotte at this point does slump slightly and
oh no, darling,
mutters under their breath this is why we should not have taken this task from the Mad Priestess in the first place.
Take what task, darling?
Getting the map.
Didn't you take the task?
No, I was against this task the entire time.
That rings a bell.
I do see where you're coming from, darling. However, you must understand that for whatever she is going through, she is a sister in the most true sense. And even though she is led astray by something we cannot understand right now, that comes with a bond of trust. And she asked me to do something. I understand that it could be detrimental. However, we're dealing with it. I understand it's stressful. I'm sorry.
In that case, if there is a bond of trust,
yes,
which I feel,
which has been reinforced by my goddess,
which I feel is an ill term to use between any followers of the Church of Ivrith, let alone any of our kinds. Why not simply speak to her and say, we have found a location. We believe the Spiderkin is safe. We have your map. If we take the Spiderkin off your hands, you are free to pursue your aims. We do not know her objectives. We do not know what she wants. Without that, we cannot bargain, and we are in no position to fight her or to flee without her permission.
All right. So we speak to Cinnabelle. You ask me what you would like me to say to her, and what you may want me to conceal, and then we do our very best.
Anyone we talk to outside of the 3 of us, no mention of the map.
No.
Or the forgery.
No. Just to Cinnabelle.
No. No mention of the map.
Just to Cinnabelle.
No.
But I love her. You're asking me to keep secrets from her.
If you truly love her,
You'll let her go.
You will keep lots of secrets from her.
If you tell her of the map, you make her a potential target of the Mad Priestess. If
Well, you also make her another unknown variable, and we have too many of those. We need, before we go and have a little chit-chat with the Mad Priestess, we need an army, because we are hinging our entire side of this bargain on the fact that we're going to have a fake map.
we need an army or we need an escape route.
Exactly. We need a plan B.
Guys,
So-
you barely have a plan A.
Plan A is wing it.
Yeah.
Why can't Plan B be wing it?
Well, that's the thing.
Well, what Bogdan is saying is that we need the fallback, and then we can
Yeah.
think about the actual commitment.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys want to take a little break,
Keep talking about
do
this for 3 hours?
downtime, and then see if that changes your opinions after the downtime?
What? A dream.
That sounded like a not so subtle nudge. So yeah,
Well, it's a nudge, but it's also a, it might give you some ideas. But
yeah.
Just like in game, we'll have our cups of tea and then come back.
exactly, get a cuppa, and then we'll be good. So we'll be back in a couple of
She's
minutes.
just going to be looking at the statue of Ifrith going.
like a lady in love. All right, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Bye. Hello, we're back.
So we bring the elephant from the other plane.
That, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Will Brewing Will's character in A Mother's Love, who would polymorph.
Yes.
So it was coming down to the Underrealm to fight all the bosses, but it would be polymorphing into shit. Like, assumedly animals that they've never seen down here too, which adds an whole extra thing to it.
And then they look like, you know how in old paintings people paint a lion or
Oh,
something?
yeah! They're held down for
Have,
history.
like, weird human faces, because they're like, I don't know, my friend Dave described it to me.
So, you have plans coming together. I think this is a good time for you to do your downtime weeks, because then you can kind of be like, this is what we're doing, and head out. I was going to start with the music journey, but I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to switch it up to Ashal's study for basically a little bit of study into blood magic, particularly blood magic used, the sacrifice part of blood magic. Would you be... How would you want to go about this? Would you be interested in going to, like, weird little shops and looking at their scrolls? Would you be trying to ask the Palace Arcanum or the priests of some kind?
Definitely weird little shops.
Have a little weird little shop.
Not going anywhere near the Palace Arcanum, and the priests are like... Yeah.
The priests are all like, you can't sit with us!
Oh, stinky!
Ow!
Oh, he's gonna, like,
Oh
get
my god, an atheist!
squid glue on. So, it's going to be an intelligence check. You're going to spend at least 50 gold, just general bribes, getting things, buying things. You can't just go into a bookshop and read all the books. If you get a +1 bonus for each additional 100 GP you want to spend to a maximum of 6.
Okay. Well, Ashal does not care about money in any way, shape, or form.
Cares about research.
I will spend an extra 400 to get a +4 bonus.
Okay, so intelligence check with a +4.
Yeah.
Depends
I'll
how
probably
well
roll
he
a roll.
rolls. Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
You got two
I like that. I like that.
15 is good. So, first, a little bit of, like, formal knowledge about blood magic. As you're studying, this is something that Ashal would probably vaguely know. There is what is called the Wheel of Magic. Every form of magic, every type of magic is on this wheel with an opposite spoke, right? Now, different cultures and people draw this differently, and there are differences of opinions, but it's a widely accepted concept, just like, the mirror planes are. For example, arcane magic and nature magic are opposite, right? Fel magic and fey magic are opposite. Those are the ones that always come up. Life magic and death magic are obviously opposite. Where does blood magic come into this? There are differences of opinion. Some people think that blood magic is a form of life magic, like it's its own offshoot. Some people think blood magic is in between life and death, as in grave magic. Some people think those are basically two different things, grave and blood, right? But it could be drawn from anywhere. And considering that Cinnabelle was using blood magic with a divine lilt as well, further complicates things. Nothing fits neatly into this system, but it's a good way of organizing it. So that's just an interesting thing in general, is that blood magic kind of defies categorization, but people often think of it as a life magic thing, especially considering blood magic can give life as well as consume it. A lot of people use their blood magic for healing. That's probably why Cinnabelle's church knows how to do it. It kind of started on that level. So with that in mind, with powerful blood magic can come powerful healing. Anything that has been taken during a blood sacrifice is harder to restore than usual. Essentially, there is a malingering curse.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting.
Right. If, for instance, if someone was killed as a blood ritual, you couldn't just cast Revivify on them. You'd have to remove that curse first. The curse, though, is very simple and depends on the spell. What Cinnabelle did was actually pretty simple when it comes to blood magic point of view, curing petrification. So it would literally be at the level of you cure the curse through fairly mundane means, and then you use powerful enough healing magic as a AR, lesser restoration or something. Both of these spells, I would say, are attainable as a blood mage, especially if you studied them, like on research breaks like this. It would be a 1-2 punch, but it would definitely be possible. It has been done before. It is occasionally seen as an affront, but it's not gonna change. It doesn't change the magic that's already taken place unless you used blood magic to like make a long-term enchantment or ward or something. Then I might change it, but
Okay, good. That is a nice answer and something I can work towards / do. Yay.
exactly right. A little bit more knowledge in general. Bogdan, you're going to be carousing. Well, you've got a lot of scheming and planning, so you're going to go enjoy some music for a few days. We're going to use the carousing rules because I think it kind of fits quite well. You will spend a little bit of money and then make a persuasion check. Now, it depends on the type of music you want to go and listen to. The upper class music that would be listened to by the nobles, which is kind of what you're interested in, would be 250 gold for the week. And would allow you to mingle with nobles. So basically how well your role goes, you might make some connections, which is exactly what Bogdan kind of is on this quest to do.
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. If you want to go middle class, that's 50 gold. If you want to go lower class, that's 10 gold.
Man.
Yeah, it's a drop.
Let's do the middle. I'll slum it with the middle class. I mean, I am an odd outcast prince.
Yeah.
Well,
Someday they'll pay me to go to the opera. What's up, Zoe?
Well, couldn't I get Bogdan in there? Don't I have like in?
Yeah, with 250 gold.
Okay.
50 gold.
Because it's like a summary thing. It's not you're going to a specific place you know. Then it wouldn't be this. Downtime stuff. 50 gold. Okay, give me a persuasion check. It's okay. You spend time in the music halls, not the fanciest, not the theaters in the highest part of the city. You probably check out a lot of street music. Azure has quite a bit of street music. And it's enjoyable, even the kind of this level of street music in Narashiro is very different to any of the music in Abanir. Would you be interested in trying to get to know any of the musicians, or just the other people who are interested in the music?
I think both.
You only are going to meet one person with that role. So which one are you more interested in?
Yeah.
Cool. There also are performers. So there's often a dancer. But yeah, let's look for musicians.
Yeah. So I assume I'm gonna get somebody's SoundCloud link.
Yeah, somebody's SoundCloud.
Cool.
Probably a reason why you'd be gravitated to this person, because they would recognize that you are a warrior, and they also appear to be a warrior. They are a usurper elf performer called Farrowwind, and they are also carrying, blades and things. They have a finely crafted short sword that's on display. They have clearly padded protective armor, even though it's of a nice quality and stuff. And their music is also it's got a little bit of battle music to it, not necessarily completely reminiscent to the sort of battle music that dwarves play, but, it's clearly music that has been played through battles and inspired by it. And they would be happy to talk to you and sort of get to know you and find out a little bit about you. They are very interested in any tales you start to tell. They kind of, that's what they're interested in. And so it really is one of those things if you ever have any, anything to say with your adventures and you want to record it in song, I'm channeling all of this down. I could immortalize it, and really get it to the, and he like taps the quill on his tongue, like, get it to the heart of the people. This is flute. They're a flutist.
I was gonna say it's probably like the Japanese.
Yeah, realistically, there's some stuff like that going on. They're a flutist. Flautist.
And you said that their name was Pharaoh?
Pharaoh Wind, yeah.
Pharaoh
together.
Wind, all one word?
Yeah, all one word.
Yeah, I mean, Bogdan would be very interested in spreading some tales of valor through music. That might drum up interest in potential. So yeah, he's got stories. He's lived a long life of fighting.
Oh, hell yeah. So you're just gonna, like, start telling these stories for Pharaoh to start making into music?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Cool. That's, you know, that's getting started working. Who knows what'll come of that? That's kind of cool.
Will forget.
I'm writing it down. And then we have Zoe. You wanted to do you still want to do more research into the Mad Priestess? Because now you got kind of you might, you know, things have changed since when I last asked. What are you interested in?
I'm not sure if you were gonna go for something first.
I already have. I got
already
my
have.
blood magic stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Can't think of anything but exploring Narashiro, like nostalgically, like looking at the tunnels that she descended into and like wandering around the different districts and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's what we call relaxing.
Sounds made up, but okay.
Sounds fake, but okay.
Fake out.
No.
Doesn't really get you stuff right now, but it's fair enough. Near enough the end of this week, when one of you awakes from your tavern room, there's a knock at the door, and let's say it's a Charl. But this tavern is...
So it makes, yeah.
Yeah, and also it's a small enough tavern, like, you don't hear the knock. It's very deliberate. You'd go and open the door, and there would be a rolled scroll in a old-looking case placed in front of the door. You'd be able to see a spiderkin wearing some kind of red silk garb, who has delivered it. They will give you kind of like a nod, and then they will just fade from vision.
I love the idea that they do what real spiders do. He like kicks hairs and is like fucks off.
More magical than that.
As Charles just floats there for a moment and then floats down, picks up the case, and just sort of goes back into their room until everyone else wakes
Do you
up.
explore it with your tentacles?
Nah, not even.
Yes.
Nah.
That's how you sense things with the world. Through your tentacles.
Charles has eyes
Give
too.
me this!
So when you are all awake, you have this map. You can unfurl it and check it, and it looks ancient. It is vaguely memorable to...
That was from Rakath?
Yeah, this is the map. This is the fake map.
Yeah.
It looks vaguely memorable to a wrapping of... to a map of the common day, but only in, like, the geography. The places are different, the symbols are different, the text is different.
I think there's nothing I could have done, so I think Oshun would just say, how did the Spider-Kid look? Was he alright? Was he sustained? Eating well? Healthy eye bulbs?
He seemed far better than most of the spiderkin I have seen previously.
And not chained into servitude?
No.
Of his own free will? Buying clothes, jewelry?
That is very difficult to tell when someone is delivering
I
a
understand.
parcel.
It kind of looked like a courier's clothes.
Oh my goodness.
Like a bellhop. Like a bellhop in a fancy hotel kind of vibe.
He certainly looked better than the lethargic individuals I have come across under the Mad Priestess.
Well, that's fantastic. We've seen one. We've seen someone who lives or works for Rakath.
I have little doubt that that was Rakath's intent to
Well.
reassure us.
From what I know about Rakath, I don't think that person breathes without intent.
As Charles does, there's a slight nod of the head at that.
So you got your map. It's old, it's dusty, it feels very fragile. It's made on like a kind of like a fabric rather than like a paper. And it's very much like an old Japanese, like you could see the flow of the strokes and everything like that. What's the scheme? Do you want to try and gather some muscle before you head towards the Fanged Asylum and do or don't give this to the Mad Priestess?
Let's tell Cinnabelle as much as we tell Cinnabelle. I swear, if we go to couples therapy because of you, I'm going to shit.
Are you regular? That might be a good thing.
Oshun is new to swearing. We try not to make fun of her. Yeah, you can fill in Cinnabelle. Did you want to get her opinion on anything in particular? Other than, I mean, I assume you don't tell her about the map. She doesn't really pry. She's surprised to be told, you know, anything at all.
Can we inquire as to whether she has or knows of any instant teleportation or escape method along those lines?
Well, of course such a thing is possible, darling. Usually among Narashiro you have a specialist teleporter. As in an individual who knows the magic quite well. A porter. We have some around here for those who are, well, they couldn't possibly deign walking all the way down through the city down to this point. So, of course, when they come to pray, they will zoop back and forth. Although there are ways to do such a thing quicker. There are the occasional little magic item that can remember a place and send you back there. But usually it's for individuals, darling, not a menage a trois.
You made it funny. I love it when she does that.
I had to quickly think about whether that was the right phrase because I was like, is there? No, it is 3 people.
I'm kind of getting the vibe that the Oshun is just being very like, oh, look at my girlfriend, she's so amazing, and as Charlotte and
Look
Bogdan
at my
are just,
girlfriend, isn't she amazing?
and as Charlotte in particular, but also I imagine Bogdan just like,
give her a lick. She smells just like raisins.
no, going wrong place.
They are usurper elves. If you're gonna lick your girlfriend, you do it in front of a crowd. But yeah, she does basically say that, yeah, those things exist.
And, Bogdan, didn't you have a question about bringing Cinnabelle?
No, I just death box.
Oh, I've traumatized him.
Oh, I have a death box if you want to have a go in it.
No. Not definitely not.
It only makes you feel like you've died. It's quite calming.
In the box. In the
No,
box.
don't peer pressure them, darling. Dwarves don't like
I'm
that.
so sorry. I'm still all bubbly from the encounter. But yes, we did want to get your opinion on if you thought it would be a good idea for you to have a chat with the priestess. Do you think that the divide between
she didn't like me before she was what she is now, and I'm glad that I didn't encounter her when I trespassed into her little ruin.
Yes.
If she didn't like me before, I mean, I don't know how different she is now, I suppose. It depends.
I have no idea.
know you are filled with magnificent, beautiful purpose after ascending, and I'm sure your mind and soul are quite different, and so are your ideals of heard things about you beforehand.
I don't feel very different.
Well, no one does. No one feels different between one day and the other, but they are. This is merely a more intense day, I suppose. When you ascend, I don't believe it'd be a good idea to send me in there again. I think you should best deal with this one on your own, the three of you.
Yes,
Very well. Now, we do have another thing to ask. Is there any way you could procure for us a spell scroll, glyph, what have you, some method by which the three of us could relocate from one place to a much safer place like that?
Oh, a scroll is much easier than an item. You only want a one bang job, easy. Single
we do like
bang.
those one bang jibs.
Look, it was very nearly a good little sentence, but it didn't want to come out.
Creeping closer and closer towards 10.
Of course, the downside, it costs money for someone to scribe such a thing. But it could be done. To send you back safely here, I imagine would be the best arrangement, and quickly too. Although I would, to do it on your budget, it would leave a mark on the ground, which functions almost identical to a magic teleportation circle that could be quite easily followed. Now,
security.
Well, we are a church of protection, darling, but to allow you in would be to bypass wards through the teleportation. We'd either ward everything or ward nothing.
Right.
Now, it would be possible to break the magic circle when you charge through.
Box.
Yes, the teleportation box. No.
I saw this on the Prestige. Yeah, Bogdan will turn to his comrades and be like, "You had another idea?"
I think we either get the scroll or we speak to the teleporter people, or we do both and have at least one plan B.
The teleporter people would involve us bringing an unwitting soul with us and then abandoning them as we flee.
I'm fine with that.
I am not averse.
Shoot.
I am not averse to this idea, but
you take the porter with you. Yeah. Now the other thing, so the options we have: incredibly expensive, rare scroll, cheap scroll I can procure for you, but has a back door, or taking with you an individual to essentially sacrifice. They'd have to stay on the other end if you needed to escape. And then they'll probably be around they're used to seeing all sorts of things. You should see the things they used to take up to the high city.
Sorry, everything's descending.
We're trying to defeat a demigod on a budget. Can you help us?
Then I would suggest leaving open the back door.
Scroll sounds fantastic.
Scroll.
No sacrifices necessary.
Right. Well, I will procure that. We probably have some hanging around, actually. She will sliver off.
It occurs to me, comrades, we may be in the need of some finance.
Yes, I'm not good with economic transactions. I've gone from being a street urchin to the tunnels and the church. very much not good at procuring the things.
The cheddar cheese, yes.
Get your bread on dough.
Perhaps instead of literal capital, we could procure favors and...
We rent out a shop.
Whoa!
Not that way!
That went from 0 to 100 real fast!
Memories! Sip the... That's all on you. That's all on you.
If you wish me to accidentally take the wrong memories, sure.
How do you practice that without...
You don't.
Oh, well, feet first, old chum.
Well, we are... we have the map.
Having an aneurysm.
Citadel is our only ally in this city, and although her resources are greatly appreciated, they are finite, and I think we should network while still in Narashiro. We are about to commit to a very dangerous undertaking. It would help to have some more people having our back. So maybe not selling our Ebamari for whatever, but instead our services. You know? I mean, maybe. Whatever they want.
At this point, Cinnabelle will slither back into the room with a scroll. And also something else. Kind of... She's big enough. One in each hand. The other thing is a potion. I had an excellent idea, darlings. So you could run away, or what if you simply disappeared? Now, assuming...
I do not know, but it is not beyond the realm of magic.
Of course, invisibility is not the hardest magic to do, and this potion, the downside being is that it has 2 swigs in it, and unless you're very intimate, it's quite hard to swig, for 2 people to swig it at the same time. I have done it. It takes a very talented tongue. But
back here, darling, back here.
This might assist you in if the Mad Priestess decides to flay you. This will be useful, and this scroll will teleport you back to my bosom here. With the downside, of course, it will make a temporary little. She'll be able to work it out. I don't know if she can use teleportation magic herself. I would imagine not. If the rumors were that she traveled through the forest all these times. But she would probably be smart enough to work out where it went. I mean, a lot of magicians would be. And of course a magician needs to use it, although I guess you're all a little magical. That's what I can offer you.
The scroll seems more efficient for the 3 of us, given that the potion only has 2 doses.
Yes, well, you could take them
I
both.
could always
Could take
not
them both.
take the potion. I've no immediate necessity to completely vanish if we were on speaking terms.
If any of us should not take the potion, it should be the ones who... One person should hold the scroll. The potion should be prioritized for the 2 people who aren't holding the scroll.
Of course, if you're too far away when you read this scroll, it'll only take the... You've got to hold hands, darling.
Exactly.
You were already holding my hand, did you know?
That's not canon. Ashal is not.
Yes,
Ashal is not.
Put
It was
on the
only when
wiki.
they crossed the street.
Yeah.
And Ashal has a little preschool hat on, the little one that looks like a rain hat.
So those are two. So you have a double dose potion of invisibility, and you have a teleport scroll, 2 Cinnabells.
Yeah, we'll take them both.
I'm putting teleport scroll in my inventory.
I'll take the invisibility potion.
Also, I don't want to be too pedantic. It may be nothing. We don't know how much of this potion will work with me and my charge.
Oh, trust me,
Okay.
we've tested these things plenty times. You are one thing, as far as magic is concerned for now. Now, if she does kind of look, of course, that is a very special baby, but I'm sure it'd be fine.
Ogden. No, my grandfather was an Ogden.
At any rate, the potion is an emergency measure, I suggest. The teleport scroll is escape plan A.
The other option is that there is a portal to another realm under this building.
It would be getting there before the priestess manages to eviscerate us. But it is a way elsewhere, I suppose.
She was always a bit of a homebody. When she was a mortal, I doubt she would chase you very far if she were to chase you at all. It was very hard to rip her from... I mean, she was the shogun, and she would barely leave the high church. She always seemed to stand before the window looking out over everything unless she was called to Lathura's side. So I really would doubt she would chase you very much.
That is actually an unexpected boon of information.
Oh, I'm practically overflowing with it, darling.
Well, I leg it. Yep. I say we move out.
Yeah? You good?
We want to...
No, I'm desperate to play this part.
Unless we want to pursue Bogdan's idea and hire assistants.
Hire a samurai.
I simply suggest that we build a power base before we fling ourselves towards the Bad Priestess.
How does one go about gathering wastrels and vagabonds?
We don't need to.
I shall.
We don't need more mouths to feed. We need people in power who owe us.
Ashal might not have pupils, but the look that you get from Ashal is like, have you seen us?
I wasn't the one that gathered us all together. Maybe I should crack out my gold dress.
Well, I know a flutist. I'll just have him play through the street, and then anyone that follows him will nap.
Yeah.
If I
there is a
sip from
suburb
their
called Hamlin.
memories enough, perhaps they will become completely amnesiac, and then we can impress upon them that they are our allies.
That makes me very
Holy shit.
uncomfortable, darling.
Did Ishal just suggest we incept somebody? Let's do it.
You don't even know, dude, how many times that's happened in Jarviskjir. That is a canon thing.
Oh my
Dreamwalking is canon.
That's so
I
dark.
don't know how to make friends. You need... Ocean's just gonna give to you how to win friends and influence people.
Ashal bites it.
No, this is an Elvish.
Right on the pyre.
It depends whether you want mercenaries or whether you want...
Is there
So
a
what kind of thing you're
warrior
looking for?
district in Narashiro?
There is a place
People come
where...
and pray for war.
Yeah? Some loyal samurai that live within the city will do that. But they are... A samurai is by nature bound already. Aside from the
Yeah, but
Ronin.
Oshun's very charming.
That's why Bogdan's suggesting not not muscle, influence.
Oh. That's
There's also, but just so you know, there's a district called the War Sprawl. It used to be where the Treaty of the Deep did all its affairs before Kavanari was built. It now is basically just a place where mercenaries hang out and non-elves.
Do the aristocrats and influential people in Narashiro have their own private churches to
Yeah.
Ibrith? I knew it.
So you can come down to the Holy District. Most big houses have a shrine as well, and there are churches. There are churches throughout the city.
Do they have employed their own priestesses?
Yeah. So a really big house will have its own priestess.
Would those priestesses ever take seminars, attend Cinnabels, like...
It would be unlikely
this is the
that...
theme of the season.
So the only time most usurper elves pray to the snake cult of Ivrith is when they're
It's
pregnant.
not.
And that is a 3-year process, so it takes a while. But usually there are no... Yeah, I know, right? Imagine dealing with that.
Yo.
It's which is partly why the church exists, because it's a long process. It's a series of support. It's a support church. It would be extremely unlikely, given how the church is right now, that any houses would have an inherent long-term connection to the snake cult. That said, the other church, yeah, absolutely. The snake cult that you have more sway with, no, although there might be influential houses who are currently being seen to. But that's kind of up to you all.
I think that's my only in, is to speak to some people in my church and then ask them to connect us immediately with their aristocrats.
Now that said, of course, some aristocrats are priests. Priestesses have especially high-ranking high priestesses, have a very high standing. So
I feel like I am missing something here. How does influence in the city help with the
Yes.
Mad Priestess? I would have thought hiring a mercenary would be a far more efficient way of doing that.
Because I doubt between the three of us we have enough coin to hire the amount of mercenaries we need to actually win a fight against the Mad Priestess. With influence, we could get that firepower.
So we give them something that they would like in exchange for the funds to hire mercenaries to this is where I feel a bit uncomfortable. Bringing weaponry to the priestess is practically feels like putting her on the expectation.
Right, I'm thinking further ahead.
Uh-huh.
We are going to go talk to the Mad Priestess. As Aishal has mentioned, we need to know what she wants. But I, personally, and perhaps you disagree, don't think that conversation is going to end well, hence the plan B. Then I'm thinking more towards plan C, which is we go kick her ass. And we may need allies.
You're playing 3-dimensional chess.
just something you know, Rakath's guild, he kind of was honest with you, like, they do have assassins. Just so you know.
Right. So that's one ally.
That is an ally if you were like, I want to get some assassinos. You'll probably do that.
Darling, have you
Call me
ever
up a posse
read
of killers.
Jane Austen? These plans take so much time that we might not have immediately to make the kind of connections that you may be expecting or wanting.
Very well. If you feel a great need to pursue this now, I'm just saying time is on our side. She did not give a Charlotte timetable to how long this map needed to be in play.
Yes, but it's almost 9 o'clock.
What?
While I do not feel that Bogdan's suggestion is without merit, if the Mad Priestess is indeed a homebody, as Cinnabelle suggested,
Your tentacle got a little stuck there.
I am not sure it makes much difference whether we gather that force before or after we speak to her the first time.
Very well. I suggest we meet with her and make no mention of our map. And accept as a bargaining chip to get more information. We should not lead with it. Keep that in the hand.
Okay, so I think I'm clear on what we would like.
Time to head out then?
So
Yes.
to summarize, we want to summarize so that all three of us are on the same boat.
That's no fun! Why would you want you in the same boat during a D&D game?
We go to the Mad Priestess, we talk to her, we say
talk to her.
You talk to her primarily. We say we sort of try and find out more of what she wants, and we try and bargain for her handing over custody of the Spiderkin to us. If necessary, we use the map as a bargaining chip, probably there. Now, bear in mind, she will probably lead with the map because that's what she asked of us. So we need to get her off the subject. No, Ollie already knows. I have faith enough in Ollie.
So we could leverage destruction of the map before defeating the spiderlings, but the main goal is to unveil her motivations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get into the heart and mind of her.
Once we have her motivations, then we can play it a little bit, wing it a little bit. Like we can persuade, deceive, intimidate as required.
Right. So learn more about her motivations. Transfer. What's the right word?
Stewardship.
Stewardship of the spiderlings. Those are our two objectives here.
Yes.
And the map is the ace in the hole for either of those means, or
Yes.
both, preferably both. Okay, I'm Gucci.
Okay. So
We're dead.
This is going to go so badly wrong.
I just had one question, and the third one was map as... I'm writing this shit down.
good idea.
Average. Okay, so my question was that I had thought that I would take her away, talk to her, get her motivations, talk to her about my experience with Ivrith, bits of it, understand her, and then while that's happening, you guys take the spiderlings away.
I don't think the plan is to do that right now.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
still
don't
a
think
good
we want
plan
to-
for later if that's the route if you want
We
to
don't
sneak them
want to
away.
antagonize her
No,
unnecessary.
As I was saying it, I realised how bad that
What
would
what
be.
Cinnabelle said about her being unlikely to pursue us is very good information, because it means that we might be able to
Leg
trick
it.
her and get the spiderlings out, but it would still be difficult and would require a big window of time.
Yeah.
To
This
do
is
that.
the plan
So-
to do before you do that, basically.
And in order to trick her, we need to know what she wants, which is why
Exactly,
this is a fact-finding mission. Yeah.
Okay, so you get aboard the fact bus, also known as Oppa, the Beetle, and can head towards the Fanged Ruins. The travel is more or less, effortless at this point. It's a hard place to get to, but you know what you're doing. The Beetle's done this like 3 or 4 times. And you can make it to the Fanged Ruins. And by the way, on the way there, rocks fall, golem, No, I'm not gonna do that. You get to the Fanged Ruins, admittedly, like a week later or 4 or 5 days later. It takes time to go back and forth, but also with time to double down on what exactly you want, right? And that might be on your minds when you approach the ruins proper. The arcing black stonework that still kind of echoes what this place might have originally looked like ancient times ago.
Before we go in, can we clarify exactly who is holding the map? Because otherwise this will come up and it will catch us.
Right now it would be Ashal, but do you want to switch it to someone else?
Does anyone?
It's like in his tentacles.
What do we think?
It's a
do
big
we want
thing.
Ashal to have the map?
Don't be a shit, okay?
Ashal is not going to be a shit. Ashal, this is Ian speaking. Do we want Ashal to have the map? Because I think it's probably the best bet, given that Ashal also has the teleport scroll.
Yes.
If Ashal bounces out of there, then you can be like, if you kill us, then Ashal's definitely not bringing that map back to you. Ashal will fuck off.
He'll put it right back where it belongs.
And probably sell the map to someone for magical secrets.
I'm in. Ashal has it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Good idea.
As you get into the ruins, it looks much the same as before. Although the Spiderkin do look a little bit more animated from that lethargic state that Ian described before. You know, the camp is in motion, but a lot of that motion kind of fades away as outsiders start trespassing in. The Mad Priestess herself, you can see her on the far stage of this building, and will rapidly approach you. As she often does, her massive legs kind of like teeter on the tents. She can move over it as if it wasn't there almost, and she will come up quite close and look at you with expectation with her many eyes, her body kind of hissing and breathing as parts kind of extend outward and then back in.
Hello, sister. Also, I will have written you a note. Probably not helpful, but it's got my signature or whatever for Spiderkin.
Okay, fair enough. Good to have.
Also, I have the potion clap in my hand.
Also, I have the invincible sword that kills everything. Damn!
Sister Oshun, I have been awaiting your return to me to prove that you have what it is I desire, that you have done what it is necessary.
Yes, we are making excellent progress. However,
However, that is not a word I wish to hear from your mandibles, Ocean. Would you dare to walk within my home and the home of my chattel?
I'm so sorry. I'm just excited. I communed recently with Mother Ivrith, and I had the most wonderful idea.
Illuminate me.
Well, I spoke with her, and she the most wonderful tidings about what is incubating currently. And I wanted to ask you, will you commune with me? Would you step into the role as this child's godparent?
This child came about from your ascension.
Yes, the direct progeny of our goddess.
The direct. You would wish me to be so close to the fate of this child born with holy strength.
Don't know that.
I could accept that responsibility. It was not what we had planned, what had been whispered of, but it is a grand thing, a grand life to be tutored. I have never been a godparent before.
And you know what she told me? She told me that... Wait, I'm blanking because my hands are sweaty. She told me that even before your most glorious form, you have always been ascended. You have always been by her side.
Yes, of course. There was never of any doubt to anyone. And anyone who would have assumed that I was not, that the ritual failed. I killed enough of them. They should have learned their lesson to not accept that as the truth. It has always been the truth. I ascended long ago. She knew that. We knew that. And this is the crux of that. The continuation. Excellent. Where is my map? This plan will not succeed if the knowledge of this place remains in dusty halls, honoring ancient gods.
Ashal will extend telepathy to Oshun.
This is like a wrestling match. I'm just going to tag in.
No. You're not. Ashal will not be respected by the Mad Priestess. You need to say this.
Exactly. I mean through my brain.
Yeah. Ashal will basically extend the telepathy and will say, tell her that in order to gain access to the map, we had to trade to bring the Spiderkin out. That's basically the truth, and it's the best option I think we have right now.
Basically.
Okay. Oshun's going to hear this. She's going to trust, and she's just going to say, "No, we're not dead. We're okay. Everything's okay." In order to acquire the map, a trade was made. Custody of the Spiderkin in exchange for the map. What say you?
Persuasion roll.
Oh, fuck me.
Can I nod convincingly to give
No.
Why didn't I cast enhance ability on charisma before going
That would have been.
What's the cast time on that? What's the cast time?
Well, it also would be obvious. Is the other thing.
It would. Actually, hang on a minute. I knew I took that for a reason.
Yo, that's a good idea. Yes. So.
Subtle spell, enhance ability, charisma.
Okay, you enhance Ocean with the Eagle Splendor. That's charisma, I guess.
Oh, persuasion?
Meaning you have this persuasion with advantage.
Advantage.
This is such a high.
Bear in mind, it's only persuasion, not deception, because it is technically the truth.
But I put.
Yes, come on!
Yes, I put all of my things in persuasion. That's basically what her whole thing is.
The Mad Priestess looks away from you with most of her eyes and will stumble into a more neutral standing position. I see that the rumors about you were incorrect, and you know your role as a priestess of Idrith even before you were granted holy purpose, deals being made for the greater good of all people. Tell me again, the map In return for what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Just to us. Just say to us.
The custody of the Spiderkin. Wait, no, she's not going to be nervous. Get it together. She's just going to reiterate custody of the Spiderkin in this area.
We need to remove him from this area.
We need to. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry.
We need custody of the Spiderkin to remove them.
Yes.
To
They
elsewhere.
requested the Spiderkin be moved to their. I'm gonna lean into my ignorance. Fortress.
They. Who is this they? Who is this new party that you have involved into my affairs? The Spiderkin stay here. It is essential. It is necessary. To move them would be irrelevant. The map being in my security would secure the safety of them here and the safety of the plan. We do not need one without the other.
I understand. In that case, would it be alright if we had just a little more time to discard this previous idea and take the map ourselves to bring to you?
You made this deal and you do not have the map to show me.
I came because it was my fault. I was so excited to tell you the news. Will you commune with me?
You have already lost some of your eyes, Ocean. What more can you afford to lose?
I gave my eyes willingly. It is part of the gift that Mother Ivrith has bestowed upon me.
The gift. I am going to want a deception roll from either Ashal or Oshun about the whereabouts of the map.
Well, you still have advantage. You do it.
Okay.
You're going to have a better.
Basically
roll.
convincing her that this is actually the true truth.
The true truth.
As opposed to
Alternative
fake
facts. Deception.
You've still got
Deception,
advantage.
with advantage.
I mean, your mod's the same as mine anyway, so.
Well, one of those is very bad.
Well, you dodged a 1. That's something.
Forget about the map for a moment.
That was a left turn.
This mysterious benefactor that has granted you a deal. What do they know of this place? Why do they want my Spiderkin?
I cannot say.
Then you are of no use to me. Ebamari, explain.
They are a gatherer of forgotten and maltreated peoples. They do not, to my knowledge, have a precise plan beyond the protection of those currently under your care.
They are under my care for a reason. 2,000 souls. They need to be here.
Why do they need to be here?
Give me a persuasion roll. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
No, fuck.
Well, you had wanted to play a new character.
I am actually going to extend telepathy and silently to her, we have touched the same presence. I can appreciate this on levels that my companions cannot.
Ebamari, come with me alone. Follow by my heels.
Yeah, as Charles will begin to float off while sending sort of will withdraw the telepathy from her and will extend it to Ocean and basically reassurance. This is okay. This is the best. I've got the scroll. This is the best situation we could currently be in.
And you can also go invisible,
No, Bogdan and you can go invisible.
You two can go invisible, but at the moment, we're potentially getting more information. I've got the scroll to teleport out. This is okay.
She will lead you up to the stage, where the fangs of the asylum cast a deep shadow in the aether. It's featureless up here, and yet she moves to a very deliberate spot. And she will not look at you when she says, "What I will show you and explain to you cannot be told to my sister Ocean, for she looks to the future. And the safety of our people and our purpose as souls on this world, it relies on the plan. I will show you the plan. Yes, you are enlightened in the shadow. I see it beating within you now. That gives you something to me right now." And she will make a very deliberate motion with her hands, an arcane one. It displays something from invisibility, or maybe even a pocket dimension. A amulet. Goldish, maybe? In the middle of it sits a large black stone. The stone has the depth of darkness that only shadow within it can cast, and even seems to leak it when it is in her grasp. She holds it very delicately with the very tips of her main claws. Within and without. Do you understand yet? Or do you need further explanation?
As shall within and without. Unfortunately, I am new to the shadow.
Of course. Of course. The plan had as many twists and turns as the surface area of a disemboweled delinquent. It had to be changed many times, but I survived. I alone survived amongst the chosen of the Daimao. We were to live again upon our deaths, and yet we did not. This shape, this form comes from a blessing by Ivrith, yes, to continue her will, not by her word, but the word of her chosen. Within this sits her. And within the souls of my spiderkin, when the time is right, she can be reborn in a shape fitting, appropriate to bring a brilliant resonance of revenge, darkness eternal to the surface. I care not for Narashiro and how it and its treaty continues, for she will bring justice and darkness to the Sun Elves, the Golden Devil, the Wood Elves, the humans, the dwarves, every little living being that lives on that surface will know only pain. Well, there is a saying, to break a few eggs, some souls must be consumed. They know, in a way, but it is not the only way, boy. You wish for the safety of all of them. I understand, in a way. I would not deign to think them more important than our goal upon this world to finally be realized, but I understand. The child is worth 2,000 souls or more. Easily. If you wish so well, if she wished so well for their safety, I suppose we could make a trade.
As Charles does actually there is a pause and then a long, slow, guttural, Ebimari hacking, coughing laugh. Many of my suspicions and beliefs were on point then. And I wish to make one correction. I care little for the lives of these spiderkin. That was always Oshun's aim, not mine. May I commune with your chosen, or is that
quite impossible? Where she is not without reach, but not befitting a casual conversation over a cup of herbal tea. It is the order, it is the purpose. I continue.
2,000 souls. For her form to be fitting, it needs to be spiderkin.
No. That was merely what I thought was right. Easy, no. None of this has been easy. But these people serve Idrith through their own way and their own will, and even when she returns, she will require sustenance. And the loyal, even when I send them shattered, many will stay. Enough to build anew, to rebuild what we had. Obedience assists to take control of so much soul stuff at once is improbable on the unwilling. The screaming, the kicking, the thrashing. How I would wish to travel to the golden cities of the surface and consume their souls to make her whole again, but I would burn in the sun, and Idris' will would be incomplete.
And souls are not easily trammeled if they truly do not wish to be. I understand.
You do. You do.
I will require time if this is to be done with Oshun willing.
Yes. Yes, of course. Even with them here, I require time in its own stead. Yes. Yes, the plan could be changed. By me. By my own fingers. Yes. She will close her hands and the thing disappears. The amulet.
I will not. I will not, of course, reveal this. I am long since used to maintaining silence around those with influence over me.
She nods. Creaks.
My gratitude for sharing the extent of the blessings that the dark has made possible with me.
You understand now the man. It is for the safety of this entire operation. This place will be forgotten, and she can grow strong again here.
A fitting cradle for a being such as her.
The plan could be changed. Ooh. Begone from my senses now. I will communicate no further with you or your people you're traveling with. I must think. Plan could be changed quite thoroughly. And she just kind of raises the back of her hand to you for you to leave.
Ashal will return to the group and will say, I have brought time. We should leave for now.
I would like to stay. It's very important to me that once we sever some of her ties to her current path, she has another path which she can believe in and be supported by. If she's let to free fall, that
That could be very bad.
If you stay, you must go along with whatever Ashal and I come up with when we return.
Well, as long as you
No.
know my terms.
You must. We
My
can't have you getting in
terms,
the way.
No one is harmed. You understand that?
I can't make anything until I hear what Ashal has learned. Nor can you.
You bitch. You know exactly.
I don't know shit! I'm simply saying, if you remove yourself from the planning process, you can't bemoan us the plan we come up with.
The Mad Priestess made clear to me that she wants nothing to do with us for the time being. She needs time to think. If you remain here, you are in danger. And the way, like, you can tell from the way that Ashal says that, like, it's not so weird that it would be out of character for anyone who hasn't spent time traveling with Ashal. But it's clear that they're trying to give you, like, a subtle message with that. Like, get the fuck out of here, we need to talk, sort of thing. Because Ashal cannot guarantee your safety if you are left behind.
I feel that although the ground is not stable, I must. I cannot help but reach out to her. Do they squiggle?
It's more they go very still. Like, completely still.
Charles unhappy.
On your void-cursed neck be it. And Ashal will just float away, like, as quickly as possible.
Bogdan's gonna follow Ashal.
Oshun's gonna Galadriel.
Bogdan and Ashal, are you going to converse in the moments after this?
Well, good in a way.
Yeah.
Ashal is not going to say anything. Ashal will wait straight up overnight. They're going to get as like an absolute age away just to be certain. And even then they're going to be on extra high alert that the Mad Priestess has not followed.
Oshun's just going to find the most sacred place that she can, because she'd wanted to do this in the forest, like away from the city, away from what's beneath the city. But she's going to find any sort of holy ground and just sit down, begin to set out the communing implements.
Okay.
And just wait, sort of trancing, just...
So not actually do the communion yet, but have it ready.
Yeah, she will come to me, or she won't.
Do you mean the Mad Priestess or Ivrith?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Mad Priestess. Okay. I see what you're doing. So do you want to do that like a little bit outside the asylum?
Yes, I'm not sure where in this structure would be the best place. Is there a ruined church?
No, because you're on the roof of a building. There is a stage.
And there's all of the...
And there's camps.
Camps.
And that's it.
In that case, this is hard because
and she is on the stage.
Where do you think I would...
I think just in the camp, probably. Maybe by the door of the ruins where it starts to...
And would anything interfere? Would different magics prevent a communion?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oshun doesn't know.
Good question.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first night that passes is with Ashal and Bogdan. assumedly on the beetle, but you probably didn't go all the way you could have. Just out of maybe a little bit of worry. It depends if you're going max speed on the beetle.
No, not pushing the beetle,
Yeah.
but Ashal will have made it clear that they're not talking at least until the morning after.
Exactly. Now is the morning.
And when they're like they will just start the beetle, they will act completely normal just in case the Mad Priestess has something that Ashal is not aware of to scry on them, has followed them somehow, anything like that. And Ashal will extend telepathy to Bogdan, and the first thing will just say, "Act normal, Bogdan." And then Ashal will say, "The Mad Priestess forbade me from sharing this with either of you."
You know, you gotta respect her commitment.
Yeah.
Many of my suppositions were true, or at least not completely inaccurate. She truly
Is this telepathy
thought...
two-way?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as you say
I
that, you
mean,
hear-
yeah, I would say so.
yeah. As soon as you say that, you hear back. Oh shit.
Yeah. Although she is still following Ivrith in some sense, she is more directly continuing the will of the Daimao, who she believes is a chosen of Ivrith. In some way, a chosen, I suppose, akin to our erstwhile companion's unborn child. The Mad Priestess intends to sacrifice the 2,000 souls of the Spiderkin to bring back the Daimao, former Daimao, I should say. I have forgotten her name. Whatever. It does not matter.
The disrespect. The disrespect.
In a fitting form, and to raise her in that place, which is why she wants it stricken from maps, so that it would be safe. I believe, and this is unconfirmed, she did not let me touch nor commune, but I believe that in some form the Daimao's soul, essence, personality, form is still whole in the Fell, probably her soul, and the Mad Priestess intends to bring that back in an appropriate form, probably due to the Daimao's power and knowledge. They have been able to prevent themselves from decaying as many souls do. Anyway, apologies, it is a lot to think on. The Mad Priestess offered me an alternative if we want to save the 2,000 Spiderkin, Oshun's unborn child. We are between a rock and a hard place. We are very close to the end of a game of Traitor's Run, and we are at a supreme disadvantage. Our only option now is to flip the board. If we wish to maintain Oshun's trust and to maintain her allegiance. The only option left to us, I believe, is to kill the Mad Priestess.
Which
Or to
you and
arrange
I-
2,000 other sacrifices somehow. Willing sacrifices.
Ashol, you strike me as an individual of great pragmatism.
But you would not be inaccurate.
You are aware that there is a great hole between the surface and the wall of Abu Nar.
I am vaguely aware of it. I did not take much interest in your people, but that is,
Very well.
It is common knowledge.
If the Mad Priestess resurrects this Daimao, who was an ardent warrior against the surface, with such dark power, we can't even begin to understand.
And brings war and theoretically conquers the entire surface.
That would be best case scenario. Worst case scenario, she brings war and destruction on an untold level, and then surface comes looking for vengeance right down the hole of my people. Not to sound indecent, but there is a literal hole. I would not see that happen. And between you and I don't give a flying fuck about Ivrith or her machinations.
That you have my complete agreement in. The interference of the gods and other planes in this realm is never a positive for those
So,
of the realm.
Oshun is a treasured individual. One who I believe is too kind and warm-hearted for definitely her own good, but certainly for this line of work.
Oh, for I believe for this realm.
So we both agree that any plan we come up with, if we could protect Oshun, that would be a good outcome. But ultimately, we're agreed. This can't happen. So, we have made a commitment to Rakath to get those spiderlings out. I, personally, would like to keep Rakath as a friend. I suggest we do the one thing we were told not to do, and we meet with House Nor, and we tell them exactly what's going down. And then we tell Oshun that she can stay there as long as she like, and we tell the Mad Priestess that we have committed to the trade, take the spiderlings out, and then we let House Nor do what House Nor does best on that Mad Priestess's face and body and every other body part.
We would need to delay enough time to get the spiderlings out, because the Mad Priestess does. How
much time?
Yes, I see what you mean. You intend to. That requires some degree of cooperation from Oshun.
And honestly, between here and the wall, the best warriors we have access to is House Nor. And they, being that they are in power, they're the house of the Shogun. They can marshal a force worthy to kill that woman. So now we need to play a game of other people's lives. Are you up for it?
I do not see much of an option. It would be nice, at least, to be playing games with others' lives rather than for others to be playing games with my life for once.
Like you said, we have to turn over the board. So we're agreed?
So, we go to House Nor, perhaps via Rakath.
Perhaps in chains with blades at our throats.
We garner allies from them. We come back. They lay in wait. We fool the Mad Priestess, and we bring Oshun unknowingly to play her part as a distraction, take the Spiderkin away, and then House Nor descends.
We take the Spiderkins away, we leave Oshun. House Nor attacks, the two of us use the scroll, slip through the chaos, and get Oshun to safety.
The scroll is one way. We would need some other way to reach Oshun. Such as that ornament that is still in her hair from the Arcanist.
What does that do again?
It allows teleportation.
So,
It's basically a beacon.
It's a
zoop
beacon.
someone.
All right.
I hope this is good for Zoe who can't hear anything. Just,
And
try and work
back
out what's going on. No,
Not
like,
done yet.
you're good now.
You realize that if we do this, Oshun may not see our logic, and she might be quite affronted.
I do not see any other way.
All right.
That's fun to hear.
Let's return to Narashiro.
Okay, so with you two having a plan, I would love to do ocean stuff right now, but we have to end today's session here. That'll have to wait. Bombshells aplenty in today's episode.
This is intense.
Yeah, but it's intense, but you also have a lot of time, which is a fun one.
Play.
I know, but we got to end off here, otherwise we'll never end. Well, my body disagrees with that statement. My mind is winning. My body is spongy and bruised.
My body's telling me yes.
Body's telling me no. So, we're gonna end off today. We continue next week. I'm sure people will be able to sleep and not scheme and think about all the possibilities, all the past abilities. But why don't we talk about...
I want to ask Ian to tell me everything.
You didn't have to leave.
Yeah, it's up to you, but it's also such juicy information that it would definitely
Yeah, I don't want
it would affect you. So why don't we talk a little bit about what else we've got going on, starting with our still honored guest who is here until the head is removed from that woman. Jaken, what's going on?
Well, thank you, Ollie. I host a Sunday stream over at twitch.tv/JakenZol every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central North American, and it is a role-playing game with 4 of my friends, and we're playing in a futuristic, far future kind of space fantasy-esque adventure. We're coming to a head. Things are wrapping up, and then but we do that every week. The show's called Dire Roll, and we got a game on the 9th, which in the US, I'm not sure if it's the same in the UK. I reckon it's not, but in the US that's going to be Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, we have Mother's Day and Father's Day on different days, just to be extra confusing. I don't even know why you would do that one. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense, right? But anyway, so we're gonna be streaming on Mother's Day, which is fun.
We should stream this one on Mother's Day. It's like the whole thing. We're not gonna, but
Yeah, so we would love for you guys to tune in, and every week, I just say thank you to Ollie for giving me the chance to be on this show, and it's really fun. Met some cool people, and now we're planning, we're scheming, we're planning, we're plotting, and stakes are high.
She wants to bring back the Shogun, doesn't
the stakes are high, the snakes are high, but who is neither a snake is in fact a squid. Ian, what
I
you
am
got?
indeed a squid, confirmed.
Confirmed.
Give such great hugs.
I'm Ian. I am. I don't have any cool stuff going on outside of the Olliverse, but I do have cool things going on inside the Olliverse.
You're
Namely-
getting married next month.
Yeah, but you don't advertise that on someone's stream.
And you're all invited.
Nothing going on. I don't
Oh,
have
life's pretty boring right now. That's funny.
It's not like I'm gonna say, yeah, we're getting married next month, and you're all invited. There, you.
If you're high enough on the Patreon, you get invited to the wedding.
Yeah, if you support a Patreon for $20 a month, ship you out.
Speaking of
To marry me.
Patreon, inside the Olliverse, I am also part of a game that is released as a podcast on Ollie's Patreon for $5 a month. That is a lot less high stakes, although it certainly doesn't feel like it for the party at the moment. very emotional, lots of things going on. But it's theoretically a sea/pirate/privateer/thing.
No
campaign.
piracy has occurred.
Yet.
But you might be breaking someone out of jail. So does that count as piracy? Yeah.
If the Pirates of the Caribbean's taught me anything, piracy begins with breaking
You're
someone out of jail.
right. You're right. Yeah.
And
This guy does have some Captain Jack Sparrow vibes in that he might, be drunk all the time. We don't know. Yeah, that's a great game. Ian is of course great in it. And we have a whole good cast. That's a little bit more chill adventure that really doesn't have any connections to anything else other than I recognize that. Like that's just, it's kind of its own standalone thing for now until inevitably it isn't, because everything is connected.
Also, it has an ongoing love story with the potential for either a very happy ending or a very sad ending.
It has a will they won't they, as all D&D games should have.
So if you ever wanted to see me and Neil role-playing awkward flirting,
I'm up for that.
Oh shit! All right, I need to.
Yeah. There was a date between Ian and Neil's character in the last
there was
session.
a date.
A date by any other name. There was hand holding.
There was hand.
Speaking of
Also,
hand holding,
can I just say before, like, the
I have no idea
frigging
what's gonna
frigging lore and everything, and that just happened in the last sort of hour, and is just like.
this session in general has been mind-blowing to the lore.
Yes.
I missed half of it.
In two different interesting ways. But someone whose job is lore is Zoe. Talk about yourself for a second.
Well, I've not got much going on, It's just like nothing.
No, I heard you were getting married.
Yeah. But yes. So we're coming out with all sorts of things. There's the Schism game, which will be coming out. You can talk to us if you have any questions or want to know any information on the Board Game Geek forum, and we're really, really excited and all that stuff. And Ollie and I are we're doing a little bit of brainstorming for a little bit of writing, and some stories are coming out. We're very excited. It's going to be awesome.
Zoe is the official, unofficial second writer of Jarviskjir at this point, which is cool. And of course, when Schism comes out, the writing is penned by both of our hands, basically. We're like one person, but we each have a hand.
Sweaty hands.
Yeah.
One pen, two hands.
One pen, two hands. We're like this. We're like doing a Luigi board. It's great. Speaking of, if you want to contact me via Luigi board. It's the only way to get through nowadays in lockdown.
Because you're dead?
Yeah.
You never saw coming.
You can support this show on Patreon. You can also support this show with Twitch subs, which we've had quite a few today, and of course I'm very thankful for. It takes a lot to put all this together, and it keeps me going. On Patreon, there is the other show. There's also sketches, sometimes sketches of characters or homebrew. I also have a show on Fridays on Fable Scraps, which is Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy. That game is also in its last moments. Stuff's going fan hit right now, and it's crazy. If you like chill streams, pretty much every other day I am doing chill streams on this channel, mostly management games at the moment, and around 8 or 9 p.m. BST for a little while. And you should definitely come check that out. That's been us. We'll see you next week with more talking about schemes. Pretty much. So that'll be great. All right. See you then.
Bye.